We're looking today at the Oxygen8 V2 from M Audio. It's a 25 key keyboard. It's got 2, 4, 6, 8 knobs, transport control, modulation, some quick access parameters. Now, why would I want to use a 25 key keyboard, you might wonder? Well, it's not really for the Liberace type players. It's going to work mostly for people who are going to be programming beats with a laptop. Someone's got some limited space. You may also find it useful for just bass lines and loop sampling live. Loop triggering live. It's really a space-saving thing. It's something that you might have as a second keyboard, maybe at home if you're working on little projects. VJs, there's all sorts of reasons. Anyway, you may remember the original Oxygen8. In fact, this is probably a collector's item, because if you'd just like to see, that's actually a MIDI man version. That's before they became M Audio, so I'll be putting this on eBay later. Same format. What's different? Okay, I'm just going to get this one out of the box and we can have a closer look. Nicely packaged. Little carry case. You could probably use this to move it around in, although M Audio do a rather nice bag that you can put both your laptop and your controller that I think fits one of these perfectly. Anyway, this is the V2. The new elements are, we've got a transport control here, which is really handy. I guess it uses MMC, so you can control your sequencer from this point, and cycle control. I mean, you have to assign these. The other difference is it's got 10 internal memories, so you can store your setups. Easy access to transpose for octave transpose. There's also easy access to global parameters, program change, and internal presets for quick. Because before, I don't know if you can see here, we had parameters are accessed via the keyboard. And I mean, it's okay, but it's a bit, to be honest, it's a bit prehistoric to do it that way. Fortunately, this also comes with an editor, the Enigma Editor, which is, I think, is a free download. We'll have a look at that a bit later on for programming up. Anyway, what it doesn't have is a data control fader, which I actually quite liked, because it's always nice to have one fader, because you could assign that for volume and it sort of translates, you know that that's going to be volume, and it's an easily recognisable format. Okay, let's have a look. Round the back, a MIDI out, so you get an extra MIDI port with this. Some USB controllers are now coming with an extra MIDI in, which M Audio do, and actually their Keystation Pro's got a MIDI in, which is kind of nice, because it means that you can incorporate maybe, if you had some pads as well, or any other MIDI input. Maybe you had a SMPTE reader, I don't know, anything. It's always kind of handy. I guess they could have put one on there, but the space is limited. I don't believe this one takes batteries, so you can power it from the bus, or it's got a 12-volt DC input, not included, by the way. Okay, right. So how does it install? I guess here we edit, and then I get my laptop. I'm told that the Oxygen8 is class compliant, which means that I should just be able to plug it in and it'll work. So let's have a look. Oh look, we get a USB cable with it. That's very generous. Quite a nice length as well. So we'll pop that in there. If you want to come in here and have a look, just to prove, right, there's no power, so I'm going to stick that in there. If you go and have a look, oh, we got some power. Right, that's pretty good. So that's a good start. So on the Mac, we're going to launch Audio Midi Setup, which should tell us what we've got here. So let's have a look. I'll go to my MIDI devices. Let's see what it's finding. So here we go. Now that's pretty good. That's the beauty of class compliancy. When you plug something straight in, you don't have to load any drivers or whatever. So I'm just going to pop my Logic Pro dongle in here. Fire up my Logic program. I mean, this is the kind of setup I would use one of these in. In fact, I have used it quite a lot for beats programming, and it's also just kind of really handy for if you're working on something away from the studio and you don't have all your stuff. You can get in there and access things. I'm not really one for bothering to program up all the assignments, I must admit. I'll show you a trick in Logic that means you don't have to bother with that. It ships with a version 4 Ableton Live Lite, so you can straight out of the box, if you've got a computer, you can be making some noise. And I feel like little digital cameras, little gizmos and gadgets, there's something that's very pleasant about the original Oxygen8 form factor. I mean, when we first reviewed the Oxygen8, it was so unusual to have something this small, and it kind of made everybody go, wow, it's incredible. I mean, they haven't actually made it any thinner, usually the same case and what have you. Right, let's have a look. Here we go. Let me see, I've got an ES1 here, which I'll just load up. Let's have a look. Let's get us some sort of a sound in here. Analog bright swell pad. Let's have a look. I'll turn up my volume. Let's see what happens. Well, that seems to work straight away. I have to say that's quite impressive. So far so good. What's next? Let's see if the transport control works. I don't know whether it will or not. I think I'll probably have to set this up to be able to accept it. So let's have a look. Synchronization. Let's just have a quick look here. MIDI. Listen to MMC input. Okay, that looks fine. And then we'll just put MIDI machine control. And let's see what happens if I press this. Okay. Well, obviously there's something that has to be configured there, so we're going to have to look at that. So I'm not getting anything to work. So I guess it's time to look at the Enigma Editor, isn't it? Let's go to M Audio. Let's find out where the Enigma Editor is. So what's the process? So here we go. All you have to do is register. It's quite simple. Enigma Editor. Oh, here we go. Click here, I guess. That's pretty good. So let's just download this. Well, while it's doing that, hold on, I think we've got an original M Audio bag as well. Look, I'll just prove that it does fit. Here we go. You can buy these from M Audio now. I think they're the same colours and what have you. They're kind of cool because you get all these little pockets and places to put your doodahs and widgets and this, that and the other. And more importantly, well, I won't put that one in because it's plugged in, but it's the same size. In it goes. Put the top on. Laptop fits in there. Room for all your cables, headphones and stuff. Zip it up. Off you go. It is nice to be able to think, hey, here's my studio. Right, how are we doing on this? 7.2 megs. I'm afraid I can't think of anything else to say, so we'll have to cut. Okay, so this is the Enigma Editor. We didn't find any templates on board, so what we're trying to do is get these transport controls to work in Logic. Now, fortunately, what you can do is cut and paste between devices, and the KeyStation Pro has a set of presets in there. So what I'm going to do, I've got, if you can see there, I've just got the rewind. So I'm just going to hit that up. So I'm just going to copy that one, paste, and so on and so forth till we've got all the ones we need, and then we can see if that's going to work in Logic. Right, so now I'm going to upload it to the V2. Okay, so let's go back to Logic. Okay, I press play on the keyboard. Hey, sequence is rolling. Stop. Fast forward. Play. Record. Hey, problem solved. Right, although we've had downloaded the Enigma Editor, I'm going to show you a nifty trick with controller assignments with Logic. If you can't be bothered to actually get in here and program the messages per knob, you know, through the interface or via the Enigma Editor, what you do is you go Logic Pro, Preferences, Control Surfaces, Controller Assignments. Right, you're going to Learn Mode, and you say, all right, I want to learn Oddity VCF frequency. You can see right there. Now, right here, don't just come in, I'm going to wiggle that one. And if you come back over here, you can see that's now been assigned. So, I mean, what I do is, you know, I might always have this controller as filter, so I could go through all of my plugins that I've got in my default song, or all the ones that I own, and always have the filter cut off and the resonance to these, or however I want to do it. And if you use the presets wisely, you could effectively have a whole bank of sounds, so you could use maybe them for envelopes, or just for filters, or for oscillator mixes, or whatever. Nice and simple. Okay, what do I think? For me, this kind of form factor works just because it's small, it's easy to get around. Comes in a 49 key version, probably about this big, and a 61 key version. So for those of you with busier fingers and the ability to play a bit more, they might be the ones for you. They're still bus powered and they still have the same controls, so I think there's no aftertouch, which is probably not going to be an issue for that many people, because this size keyboard is not really for players, although it's nice to have that additional control. It would be good to have an additional MIDI input, but again, it's not really a deal breaker. I mean, at this price, you're getting some pretty good features. The transport control makes it a real bonus because it means that you can just concentrate on playing and control the whole your sequencer from here, as we've seen. $179, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. If you need more features, you might want to look at the Axiom, which has got extra pads, aftertouch, and they come in similar sizes also. But on the whole, a good piece of kit.